Hey guys, what's up? Wow, you guys are fast. Speedy, speedy. Yeah, looks like it. I mean, we'll definitely lose, but whatever. I just queued solo. The one tip as a druid in Warsong Gulch pre-mades is basically right off the bat you want to go stealth because their hunters are going to just try and mark you right away and send their pets after you. Just kind of what happens. See, they're going to be scouting. This guy's really toxic. He always does this kind of stuff every single game. Hey Teo, how's it going? Do they have any stealth? I don't think so. Am I winning all my Warsong Gulches? No, I've lost the majority of them. I think I've only played 3. No, 2 I guess. I played 2 and lost 2. I didn't really play any yesterday. This is my first match of the day. And it's against them pre-mating. I just have been solo queuing. So we'll do what we can. Not much we can really do against a pre-made, but I hate that it shows flags on the map right now. Just winding down after a tough day of revision before I go to bed. Yeah, when's your final? Is it soon? I guess this is a good time to practice the jumps, I guess. I don't know. Hey, Light, how's it going? Your finals on Wednesday. Nice. It'll be nice to get it out of the way. That's how I always felt about finals. It's like put in a lot of work studying and stuff, but then the feeling when it's finally done is really nice. But yeah, this jump used to be like, this jump used to actually be impossible for me until I had the set, the PvP set that increased my travel form speed. But like, it seems like it's gotten a lot easier. Like, see, I mean, I normally would always fall right here. You'd have to hit like this spot or here. Seems like they've made it a lot easier to make the jump. Which is kind of nice, I guess, but it's just gonna mean more people will be able to do it, and you won't get away as easily from people. I actually have a question about fitness. Thought I'd ask you. Is there any good rear delt exercises for a like at home workout with a dumbbell or just body weight? You can do like a sort of Spider-Man exercise where they call them Supermans, where you like lay on your stomach and then you lift your legs and your arms up into the air, and it works your lower back. But you can do that with dumbbells in your arm position, in your hands, obviously, and just not lifting up your legs. You can just lift up your arms, and that's really good for your rear delts. It's hard if you don't have a bench. If you don't have a bench at home, then it's hard. But with a bench, you can do a lot of like rear flies with dumbbells and things like that. Do you think they intentionally made jumps easier would fit Blizzard's policy? I think what happened is that the jumps weren't available. This is just what I speculate. I don't really know. I don't know if the jumps are possible on the retail client. I guess they've redone Warsong Gulch completely, right? But I do know that that the jumps were probably not in the game. That's my assumption, because everyone was saying they hope that they are in the game. And so if that is the case, then what's this guy doing? Go get your flag, dude. Win your games. He ran all the way over here to sleep me. Huh. Okay. But yeah, what was I saying? I think they just wanted to make sure that they were in the game, and when they kind of put them back in the game, they might have made like some of the ledges a little easier to get up on and things like that. But I'm not really sure. Okay, I'll try this Superman things. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. It's kind of hard to explain things without being able to show you, but I mean, there's probably lots of YouTube videos too that are super helpful for those kind of things. I wonder if it was like that bad in vanilla and the private servers had it wrong, or they changed it due to private server meta. Yeah, I'm not sure really, because for some reason in on private servers, some of the jumps were actually like extremely difficult. But then obviously for other people, like they got used to the jumps and were able to make them pretty well. But I always had issues with a few of the jumps, whereas so far in the beta, the jumps have felt like super simple. So hey. Are you going resto endgame? Yeah, I'm playing resto like in raids. But in terms of everything else, I'll switch around. I like playing like a feral hybrid in PvP. So we'll see. I also never was able to play feral very well on private servers because of my ping and just having like a lot of lag overall. So we'll see if maybe this time around I have a little bit more fun with feral. What do I think about 29-11-11? I think that since it doesn't have nature swiftness, you're definitely limiting yourself. I just think in a PvP situation, not having nature swiftness is like massive. At least just my playstyle. I love NS, but that being said, you definitely could make a build like something like that work. What are your 11 points are just to get insect swarm, I assume. Reflection is just really, really nice. So you might find yourself going out of mana a lot sooner in that spec too. Come to the dark side, come full feral. No, I'd never play full feral in PvP, but it'd be fun to play more hybrid feral in PvP and actually be able to melee people efficiently. Is Wolfshed Helm a must for PvP or only PvE? Only PvE. You won't wear that in PvP. Maybe very specific duels you might want to equip it, like against a frost mage or something. Maybe you want to equip it, but overall you wouldn't be wearing that. These queues are super long. I don't really know what I want to do. In PvP, it's too fast-paced to use power shifting efficiently. Well, yeah, plus CC plus your mana. Like, you're going to drain your mana really fast, and you want to save your mana for, like, CC and heals and things like that. So, yeah, there's several, like, downsides to it. Hey, Eben, I want to do an off-tank build for Phase 1. Would I want to go full feral with natural weapons and Furor, or would you recommend, or how would you recommend talents for that? Yeah, I mean, if you only want to tank, then I would definitely do that. Like, if you only want to tank in DPS, I would definitely do that. But if you want to heal at all, then in my opinion, it's probably best to go like Heart NS, because you can tank as Heart NS, but then you can also like just switch over gear and heal and stuff, which just like allows you a little bit more, like you don't have to be thinking about like, oh, you know, I want to heal, now I need to go respec, so it saves respec costs, but I don't know, it's just kind of up to you in the end. But the like a full feral build, you'll be a little bit more efficient tank, but it's not like crazy. What spells should you not pick up while leveling? I never pick up Starfire. I don't rank up Wrath after I get Bear Form. And this is like just hyper efficient to get to level 40 and be able to afford your mount, which obviously doesn't matter as much as a Druid, but let's see who we have. Okay. Are these guys a pre-made or something? I mean, like, I kind of wanted to just go up against a lot of just random groups. I didn't really want to be playing into pre-mades. Like, we're at level 30. I didn't want to like try hard or anything. Like, I got in a group the other day and they were like, do you have free action potions? Are you ready to flag carry? I'm like, geez, dude, we're level 30. Calm down. definitely most comfortable with heart and S. My guild kind of wants the 3% crit though. Oh yeah, that's true. I also don't like this. I get like this. I don't even get this on private servers, but like when I'm exiting a building or something, I get a super delay on being able to enter travel form, which is really annoying. I don't know. I don't really know why that is. Hey Evan, how viable is the regrowth spec for phase 1? I would not suggest doing that spec in phase 1, just because of mana efficiency. But yeah, I mean that's definitely a good spec later on. I would just say like any deep resto spec is gonna be kind of tough later on. They're really just going straight for flag. Okay. We might just not play worse on Gulch. Maybe I'll do like world PvP or something. I don't really want to play into pre-mades over and over again because I'm just queuing solo and there's really no point. Do I know how healer aggro works for Druid? Can you pre-stack hots on you in a pull to help gain aggro as a tank? If it's not like a shield, then yeah, hot will generate aggro as it ticks, but it's not like not a ton. You're probably better off just, unless you need the hots for a pull, you're better off what I like to do if I tank is sometimes I'll pull with a Moonfire, but normally I'll pull with just a Fairy Fire in bear form. But like between pulls, if you want to, you can get out and throw out some hots so it helps your healer a little bit with mana. But I mainly heal in 5-mans. Like I have tanked 5-mans, but it's definitely not something that I'm like a pro at. Those kind of like general questions and stuff would probably be better for Skarm. But that being said, I don't think you need to like min-max your threat that much in a 5-man. It's not going to matter too much. In all fairness, Evan, everyone that got into the beta are as hardcore as they come for the most part. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm super hardcore, obviously, but I mean, we're doing worse on Gulch at 30. I don't know, and it's just out for a few days. I guess people want to try and get the rep rewards or something. Who knows? I mean, it's definitely more fun playing with friends than queuing solo, but I mean, it's just not, it's like when you are a person that's queuing solo, it's definitely a kind of a drag to just get pre-mades all day, you know? So. See this jump right here, like if you see that, you have like all this extra space. Like here you can jump, here. Like before you had to hit this this spike, otherwise it really wouldn't go anywhere. Dude, relax, bro. But it just seems like there's more like invisible ledges kind of, I guess, if that makes sense. You don't get aggro from overhealing. Pre-dot heals don't start tad aggro until you take damage. Okay. But you can't just like on this ledge you definitely can't just like run across it. You still have to hit, well, you almost can. You still have to like hit the jump. on the first portion, which is pretty easy because there's like it's like all this darker space right here is the ledge. So all you really have to do is get on that. Okay, well, even going higher up, you can't just fall onto it. Let me see. Let me see if I go all the way up here. No. I'm gonna catch some Z's. It's approaching 2 a.m. here, and in the EO the EO has elections tomorrow, so I gotta wake up early. All right, Teo, take care, man. Good luck with the studying and everything. So this first portion, you still, like, you can't make the jump too early, as you saw. Like, if I jump from here, I'll just... Oh, actually did. But I'm not really... This is normally where you kind of want to be. But this second part is where it seems like there's just, like, so much room for error. Like just a lot of forgiveness in terms of this jump. Whereas before, if you hit this lighter spot, you're gonna slide down. Whereas now it's like you have all this space to. So like, I never missed that jump on the beta so far. Whereas like before, I missed that quite a bit actually. Probably like 20% of the time I'd miss the jump, which is kind of bad when you're going up against a pre-mate or something and they're chasing you. Like, I'm definitely not the best flag carrier. Everyone should just make a goal to avoid playing with a giant streamer like Asmongold, especially if you're Horde. Yeah, I mean, I think I was kind of against like big streamer servers before, but like the one thing that I've noticed from this beta is like the most fun I've had in the beta so far has been like big PvP stuff, and that has all been organized by streamers like Sony Digital, Venruki, Asmongold, Svan. So it's like there is definitely perks to being on those servers. Like, you know, they're going to stay populated, you know they're going to stay active. There's going to be lots of events, so I don't know. It's just kind of it's a hard choice, you know. Is it just me, or do mages seem really weak at 30, more so than other classes? Yeah, you don't really have as much, like most like melee classes at this level are going to be stronger than so like rogues and warriors and even like paladins to some extent and shamans are going to be strong at this level because they're like, you have access to a lot of like good strength and agility pieces. You have access to really strong weapons from dungeons, and all these kind of things. But as a mage or like a warlock, like warlock is still fairly strong at this level, but it's just because their dots don't really rely on spell power as much at this level. Whereas like mages, like you don't really have access to a lot of spell power or anything. So yeah, you just don't have like the burst that you do at 60. Try to do the jump without travel form. Looks like it's possible to do it. I think, yeah, I'll try right now. I think what will happen is I can make the first part, but I don't think the second part's possible. Okay. We'll see if I can even do the first jump. I was trying to like see how far, like trying to go forward more. I guess like probably right here is where I need to jump. I know you can make the first part because I saw a little gnome do it yesterday, but then they fell during the second part. It's definitely hard. Like you can do it with a mount very easily. Like doing it with a mount is almost easier than doing it in travel form. But that's the perk about. See, like you can just land right here, which you never used to be able. You'd slide down on this part right here. You'd have to hit like this ledge here or forward. There's like a little triangle almost, but like it's fairly similar to how it's been on private servers, but it does feel a little bit easier for sure. Okay, let's go try and... Okay, never mind. They're camping the graveyard. Everyone's just inside defending. Okay. I think being on a streamer server, but on the opposite side, will actually be great if you're doing for PvP rank. Yeah, that's true. And there's some streamers that like I enjoy more than others, if that makes sense. Like I enjoy watching, like I enjoy, how do I put this? Like I enjoy watching Asmongold, but I wouldn't want to be on Asmongold's stream or server, right? Whereas I enjoy watching Sony Digital, and I would 100% be on Sony Digital server. It's just like their mentality behind the game is quite a bit different, if that makes sense. Like Asmongold is like pretty much pure, tries to be like pure entertainment, and is like fine with like the trolls and all that stuff, whereas other streamers are a little less like trolly, and they're more like their like stream is a little bit more like skill based. So a lot of the OG like rankers and stuff, so like Snuts, Venruki, you know, things like that. So because I think they just they draw a different crowd. Actually, this is kind of funny that we're just wasting their time at this point, just all camping in here. I don't know why BG chat doesn't work. Asmongold was beloved at first. Now contrarians hate on him because he's popular. Well, I have no problem with him being popular. I think he's a super entertaining streamer. I'm not talking about it as like from that sense. I'm talking about like since he's such a large streamer, I think naturally he generate like since he has a larger viewer base, and with pretty much any large streamer, a lot of their chat can be kind of like, I don't know, it's just like really trolly and stuff. So I just think that server would have a lot more like players who don't take the game serious, whereas like a lot of people that watch more of the high-end like arena players and whatnot, I think they tend to take the game a little more serious because they're watching the streamer for like more than just entertainment value. Because I don't think anyone thinks Asmongold's like an amazing warrior, you know? I think he's good at the game, but people watch him because he's entertaining, whereas like someone watches I don't even know a good example, but other people for other reasons, you know? I think this guy is the same Druid from Northdale, Baron. He like streams. Moonfire. I love NS hibernating people. Or NS rooting people. It's fun. That's why NS is also good. It's like, you don't even have to use it for heals. You think with cross realm battlegrounds the queue times will be decent on both factions? Yeah, I do. And I know a lot of people think cross faction battlegrounds is bad, but I'm totally for it. Actually, I love it. I think it's a good idea. There's a reason why Blizzard implemented it into Classic in the first place, and people keep saying they're like, oh well, we want to like know the people on our server and stuff, but you have to realize like in phase 2, PvP is going to happen. In like, there's going to be world PvP before battlegrounds, and so everyone's going to know people on their server anyways. So I don't think it detracts from like server community or whatever, and I think if anything it just helps with like balancing battlegrounds and allowing people to rank better than having to like just sit in long queues if your faction is imbalanced on the server you're on. Ooh, fake. You guys no mana though, really. Need a drink. That gun from Stranglethorn Vale makes Hunter so strong at this level. I've noticed that folks that play Alliance are more troll than Horde. That said, S-Fan is hilarious. Yeah, I love S-Fan's streams. I was actually watching him a lot last night. He was very sleep deprived. I need to drop combat and drink. But yeah, we had like almost all of these honorable kills I got were from World PvP yesterday, against like Asmongold and some other people. Like he wasn't streaming or anything, but it just like kind of became a thing. Like some World PvP started happening in STV. It was super fun. It's probably the most fun I've had in the beta so far, to be honest. Long queues are part of the agency for winning, though. If your game is taking too long, a team can just give up because they know they can get another match quickly. Yeah, I guess, but I mean, the problem is really about like it comes down to a lot of things come down to like enjoyment of the game still, because there isn't any ranks, there isn't any like rated battlegrounds or something, so queues are all queues, right? Like you're queuing into the same. This guy's actually straight power shifting. Queues come down to enjoyment of the game too, though, if that makes sense. Like if you have a server where it's like, say there's 2 active pre-mades going on one side, and not very many other like solo players, like you're gonna have the other faction's gonna be queuing, and then they're gonna queue into a pre-made once, and then they're gonna be like, okay, that sucked. They're gonna queue again, and they're gonna get another pre-made, or they're gonna get that same pre-made, and they're gonna be like, wow, this sucks, and then they're gonna just stop queuing, and then the queue times for those pre-mades go even higher, and then what do they have to do? Well, they supplement queue times with going out and ganking people at like flight paths or out in the world to try and get honor, because ranking is all about honor per hour, right? So they've got to get to somewhere, and like that's not I mean, that's not really fun for like someone to be wanting to PvP and not really being able to because the queues are just absolutely dead. So I don't know. I like cross realm battlegrounds. I think is a really solid idea. Plus, I don't want to be on the same server as Asmongold. I don't want to be on the same server as SFan. I love their streams, and I'd love to be able to go up against them in PvP sometime when they're ranking. So, that way you can, even if you're on different servers. And you can, like, if you're a super, super good pre-made on your server, you might not be that good of a pre-made in general, like, you might be really skilled for your server's population, but there might be other really good players that you basically just can't play against because there's no cross faction. So it also helps with like competition more. Hey man, awesome stream. I discovered your YouTube. Your guides are great. I don't know what I want to play yet in Classic, either Druid or Priest. Well, Druid and Priest are definitely both solid choices. So the good thing about Priest is they're in high demand. I mean, Druid's in demand, but on a lesser scale, whereas like priests are super, super nice, especially on in PvP because you need that magic dispel, and we don't have paladins on Horde side, so. They had the Classic Wins video about streamer servers. Yeah, I saw that. It's definitely pretty true. What do you do in pre-mades? Heal, run flags, defend, etc. Yeah, I mean in Warsong Gulch, they're like a Warsong Gulch pre-made's only going to take one druid, and your sole job is to run the flags, which is why I don't really enjoy Warsong Gulch too much. Some druids love flag running, but I think it's kind of I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of it. Like, it's not bad, but it gets old. Like, if it's Warsong Gulch weekend and you're just running Warsong Gulch all weekend long and all you do is run flags, it's very monotonous after a while. Whereas I really enjoy, like, my favorite battleground is probably Arathi Basin because you have so many roles as a druid. Like, your group will take advantage of you in so many different ways in terms of, like, it just is based solely off of your group composition. So if you lack if you lack like a base sitter, like a good pet class, like a hunter or a warlock or something, then you might be taken as kind of a defense, like base sitter, so you might be defending farms or stables is pretty popular. But it just depends on your group comp, so that's why I really like. Ooh, we got some boys out here. Where them boys at? Okay, hold on, lady. I'll come back. Oh no, don't get the guards on me. But and then again, my other favorite, like, it's not as common to get like a pre-made Alterac Valley. But that's how I did a lot of ranking on Northdale, because Northdale just decided that everyone's going to just play AV all day because it was the best honor per hour. So I did a lot of AV, and I actually enjoy AV on a Druid because there's a lot of really impactful plays you can make. Like, you can go and solo the aid station in the very north portion of AV, so you basically can take that graveyard solo as a druid, whereas like no other class can really do that very well. Here's my spec though. So I use a macro that takes you out and puts you back into form really fast. Seen a lot of druids using that in battlegrounds. Yeah, I have something similar to that. The problem is like your forms are on the GCD, so like you can only go so fast, you know what I mean? Hey bud, I'll be back for you later. No honor on the alliance. Like, he doesn't even help his little friend. So happy I found you, a druid streamer, content creator. You're gonna be so helpful. Yeah, man, there's not very many druid streamers out there besides like Stormax has been streaming a lot, but he doesn't really make YouTube videos. And then Scarm, but Scarm doesn't stream right now. I don't know if he plans to, but he's more of the tank feral type of druid player, so. He just killed Watch Me Blink. Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't sure. I don't know if that's actually him, though. It might be. I don't know. Paladins don't have Dispel at this level, which is really nice. What are you going to do? Run at me? I mean, I'll go though, just before he even goes As a paladin, you should never use your Hodge as like an opener. Just because you don't have like good burst damage really, so you want to use it as like a finisher when someone's low health. That's the best time to use it. There's so many random horde here. It's funny. I like the pure hybrid build, something like 19, 11, 21. It just sucks that you can... Oh, that you can't blow people up as a druid. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, what I mean by that it triggers a GCD is like having a macro for it doesn't really necessarily make it much like it doesn't really make it any faster, at least from my from what I've found. The only reason I have a macro for cat form in the beta is because, or travel form in the beta, is for some reason it hasn't been letting me where did these guys come from? It's a party out here. He's just gonna kite me back into that group. I gotta leave. What are my thoughts on capping GY side with the wall jumping, train hopping? I mean, that's like 90% of horde flag running for you. It just really depends on where people are, you know, like where people are in the world. Like if there's a lot of people over by your team's graveyard, then obviously it's not necessarily the best choice. Is this guy literally just gonna follow me the whole time? Stab, stab, stab. This is why you want this dagger at this level. Okay, it's a warrior. That's fine. Just don't want it to be a paladin who can heal him. Okay, die. Sorry, did I say 19, 11, 21? Yeah, that's what someone was talking about, a hybrid build. Remember when I'd twink a lot at 19, the people would actually get banned for doing stuff like that. There's places like, there's one place on the, like a lot of people call it the banana, the spot that's up to, like the circular ramp that's up to the top of Horde's roof, and there's like a jump that you can make on that like wall as you come in that can get you to like a place where you're like unkillable basically. So yeah, there's like some jumps that I think should be bannable where you're basically just like exploiting, but then there's like a lot of common jumps like the graveyard jump, and then the top of the tower jump, and like some of the fence jumps on Alliance side that aren't really an exploit. You just need to know how to do them, and then everyone can do them. So hey buddy, you're back. Dude, this guy just like leaves him. He's like, thanks for the help. Let me get away. Yeah, try and kite into the guards there. That's classy. And the stumps next to a line side. Yeah. For example, those are good ones. I think the way Blizzard should handle it, which is how I would handle it if I was a GM or a developer of a game like that, is like if it's like a clever use of like terrain that anyone can take advantage of like fairly easily, then it should be allowed. But like some of those jumps that allow you to get up to like the roof, like spots on the roof where no one can reach you, or like behind the flag in the Horde area, like where you're basically not even visible in the game anymore. Like those things should be bannable because they're not really possible unless you go way out of your way to get there. You wrecked that guy and the poor warrior couldn't protect his friend. Yeah. The warrior didn't have, was 28, so he didn't have Berserker stance, which definitely doesn't help him against a Druid. Druid would be really strong in this dueling tournament coming up if they didn't have such mana issues. Like, I think most fights are just going to come down to a Druid ooming, so that's the bummer. There's another one on the alley side where a Druid can get there so easily right next to the graveyard. Oh yeah, I suck at that one. The one where you like jump up the hill. I'm really, really bad on that one. But then again, it's because I haven't really tested it or anything. Have I checked out Nimboya's mystical staff? Yeah, someone linked it to me. It might have even been you. Someone linked it to me, and I was like, oh, that quest is for level 41. And they're like, oh, no, but it shows 30. It shows 30 on, like, Wowhead and stuff like that. And I checked it out. Oh, it was you? Yeah. And it definitely looks like it's possible, but I'm not going to kill... If this guy attacks me again, I'll kill him, but I'm not going to just keep killing him over and over again. Okay, he might actually try and go for me. Dude, I was going to let you go. Pick your battle, son. You've lost twice. Yeah, but it's a good staff, but the stats on it like aren't that great. So, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, maybe a shaman would want to use it because it has such good DPS. but the attack speed's pretty fast, where you want like a slower weapon. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think having the reason why I got this dagger is because look at the speed, 1.5. It has stamina and spirit, which are both decent stats. Every single druid on this server has the skull, like the mace, right? And so it's from this quest. So instead of getting the zealot's robe, they get the mace. And in doing that, what they're doing is they're taking a weapon that has a very slow, I think it's like a 2.4 attack speed mace. And they're really like nerfing themselves at this level and even at 60, I do this when I PvP, but like as a druid, there's certain classes that you want to try and, sit right on top of them, right? You want to sit on top of a mage. You want to sit right on top of a hunter. You want to sit on top of a warlock even, if you can, or a shaman. If it's a Ellie shaman, you want to try and sit on top of them because you can basically just interrupt their cast by stabbing them, and it's just extra damage. And there's no point to be at range against classes like that. So, like, taking the robe was just the obvious choice because this dagger actually is going to help out a lot against like mages and things like that. That's like the biggest way to win against a mage. Don't even go cat form. It's going to cost too much mana. You just travel form out of slows when you need to, and you just stab them to death. Works out really, really well. Figured since weapons can be changed easy, it might be something to slap on whenever you need some big white hits. Yeah, I mean, it definitely had like good DPS, but the stats and stuff, just because this witch's finger offhand is so strong with the stats that it provides, and plus that staff quest, I looked at it, it was like 9 parts. It's like a 9-part quest, where you have to kill like high level trolls and stuff, so I'd need to get a group for it, and I was like, I'm not gonna probably attempt to do that. It's too much effort. How many times do you need to teach this lesson? A lesson, man. Yeah, I don't know. Some people like to come back and try and fight again, which like is totally fine. I understand. I'm like that too, but after you've lost a certain amount of times, it's like, do you want to keep fighting? Hey, bud. What is this guy doing? Look at that. Look at that melee range. That's insane. Classic got way more fun when you could min-max stuff. Yeah, for sure. Now that people are like a lot more, I don't know, people like to use the word autistic, but I think just like a lot more like try hard with a lot of things like that. It definitely makes Classic like a lot of fun in terms of, yeah, being able to kind of go all out in certain aspects, whereas like before people didn't even really care. Oh, you're the same person that spammed S-Ban about the rock pulverizer? I figured I'd at least mention it to you. Yeah, I mean, like, it definitely looks like a good staff. I just want the faster attack speed. If it was like an easy quest to do, I would definitely go out and get it. But yeah, I know that mace really helped Svan with like DPS and stuff. It seems like it's pretty strong. I was watching him do some PvP the other day, and he was hitting really hard. Like, it was actually pretty crazy. Why is no one using Crowd Pummeler? Because most people are not playing. Like, there's some druids that are playing Feral, but it's a good Feral weapon. for like the stats and stuff, but most druids are playing like a resto or like a hybrid spec. Most of my vanilla was twinking at 19 and 29. Used to pre-made all day, so I don't know. Hard to not obsess about it. Yeah. Did he keyboard turn 2004 style? I think so. There's a lot of people in the beta that are like, it's weird because they have like a lot of really, really popular people. Like I keep seeing like, you know, names that I recognize from either private servers or like way back in the day from like arena and stuff like that. But you also have like so many just like really, really random people. I think the way they invited people in is kind of interesting. I think they got some extremely like noob like WoW players to kind of see if the game resonates with like, you know, people that never played Classic before. But you do realize there are some people in here that are not very skilled. Which is fine, obviously, but hey man, how's it going? We're just trying to find some PvP. We were doing Warsong Gulch for a little bit, but it was all just like pre-mades. I wouldn't mind getting in like a pre-made, but I think the only pre-made that was going on was on Horde side was like Sony, right? Yeah, because Stormax was in his group. So Destiny hadn't ever played it. Destiny's never played WoW, really? I feel like most large streamers have always like played WoW or WoW was like their first game or something, you know? He never played it. His chat was trolling the hell out of him. It was entertaining, but so hard to watch. It's easy to forget how steep the learning curve is. Yeah, that's definitely true. It's like, it's pretty tough to watch new players. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to get like a friend into WoW or like a girlfriend or something, and like trying to show them how to play like while you're sitting next to them can be like really frustrating because you just want to like take control and be like, no, this is how you do it, but they have to like learn through it. I mean, back in the day when I played, I'm not even kidding, I used the arrow keys on my keyboard. Like when I first started playing, I used the arrow keys and I'd like click every single ability. Like I didn't even know that the number one or anything like meant that you could use a hotkey, because that was like the first computer game I had ever played. So I literally was just clicking every single ability and it was really bad. Not ashamed to say I like Druid because I'm a bit of a care bear when it comes to world PvP. I leave people alone and don't like to fight. I mean, it's definitely a strong class for that because you can just run or you can hide or whatever. What spec do I run for PvP? Well, at this level, I'm just running full resto. But at 60, like I like Heart of the Wild, Nature Swiftness, and I also really like what other specs do I like? Like I like Deep Resto later on in the game, and then I also like Balance Hybrid specs. My cousin was wearing a caster robe as a rogue when I got him to play. I was twinking at level 19 at the time, so it was hard to defend him when the entire PG was calling him out for queuing level 14 in cloth. Yeah, people can be ruthless. Oh, he tells me no, it's not going to happen. Okay. Wow. Hey, bud. Guess I'm not allowed to attack that dwarf. Yeah, the DPS from this dagger is actually really good. Hi. Hello. Hey Christopher, how's it going? He just like walks around me. He's like, no thanks. I kind of feel the same way about seeing a paladin though out in the world. It's like, do I really want to deal with that? Your thorns wore off, so annoying to constantly reapply. Yeah, at this level it's such garbage DPS too, but it's definitely good to keep them up. I like having that's the nice thing about getting the 3-piece from tier 1 is that your thorns do more damage and it lasts for 5 minutes longer. So I always keep 3 pieces of tier 1 in my bag so I can just swap over, buff myself, and then swap back. Gives you a little bit of extra time. Can you hit your boy with a beta key? I wish it worked like that, man. I just got in randomly too. I got super lucky. And I know that's kind of like the meme with streamers is like, oh yeah, I just got lucky, like Asmongold saying that or something like that. But like legitimately, I think I honestly just got lucky. It's not like anyone really even if like a Blizzard employee randomly knew about my like YouTube channel or something like that, I don't have like my email posted anywhere or things, so they would have no way to like invite me. Okay, that I'll leave that one alone. It's not even gonna get me honor. Hello, welcome. That sucks as a warrior at this level, though. The only charge that he has to be out of combat. So basically, if I just keep him in combat, then I win. Let's just stab him. Only potions. As balanced resto spec, do you go for charge as well or just balanced resto? It depends. It really depends on your gear. If you have really good gear, you probably don't need charge, but charge is really good in general. So I would always try and fit charge into your build. But I have a few PvP videos on my channel that I don't actually have charge. It's weird though, like when you first respec and you don't have feral charge, you've gotten used to using it so often that for a while you'll still try and switch over to bear form and charge. "29 warriors are easy mode because no whirlwind axe. If only he knew you were holding on to NS." Yeah, I mean, they're easy because of that. Plus, they don't have, they haven't gotten their berserker stance. I don't think like warriors aren't too hard at a level 30 to duel, even with whirlwind axe. Like I was dueling tips out the other day, and I know people like give tips out shit for whatever reason, but I think tips is a pretty good dueler. And I think I was winning about 50% of my duels against him, which is against the orc warrior is actually really good because, you know, he'll resist my bear form bash or my my war stomp quite a bit. Hi, buddy. I killed this guy so many times the other day. Escape artist. The sneaky boy. Ooh. He kicked me. He kicked nothing. Stab him to death. In the beta, it's weird because you can parry. I don't think you can dodge, but you can parry from behind, which is not supposed to be the case. But do I believe in the Druid pack to leave other Alliance Druids alone? No, I'll kill them still. It's just normally it's just a long fight, so I kind of just probably. Normally I'll ignore him anyways, but if it's someone, like if there's a reason I should be killing him, then I will. Hermes. Doesn't know we're here. He starts slowly backing up. Bro, I barely stream with no job. It's fucked up. Well, I mean, that's a thing with no job. What do you think someone's doing that doesn't have a job? They're out trying to get a job. Got to pay the bills somehow. I actually had to like fully fix our it's like summertime now, and so I had to fully fix our sprinkler system the other day, which is why I really couldn't play very much. So that was kind of a nightmare. Do you think the popularity of Druid in recent years will affect classic Druid population numbers? No, I think people will realize that Druids are not as strong, are not as strong in everyone's hands as people think they are. They're definitely good, but I don't think a lot of people have the patience to like learn how to play them well. So I think a lot of people might try them out, but I think they'll give up. She begs me? How pathetic. Yo, I need honor. It's okay, Ray. It'll all be over soon. Just let it happen. Oh no, Hermes, you were too late. Also, thanks for your videos and stream. I quit WoW 2 years ago after Mythic Nighthold. It's nice to see old school Druid I fell in love with. Yeah, for sure, man. He peaced out. Say, how's Druid farming, or how's Druid for casually farming raid consumables like in Resto and Heart of the Wild Spec? It's pretty easy. I have a video on how to farm with the Druid. I personally like to AoE farm. And I mean, if you don't want to farm for gold, like if you don't want to farm mobs and then sell stuff on the auction house or something, you can also have like herbalism or whatever, and then you can just, you know, have an alchemist make you your raid potions and consumables, and you can fish for your night fin. I fish for my night fin because there's at least on Northdale they were like super expensive, whereas I could fish up like a stack of night fin while watching like a show on Netflix or something. Can I open with rake into rip? Yeah, I can try. It's more a problem of just people getting away. I think more night elf ferals will be taken to raids. No, I mean like people. I think people know that druids aren't as bad as other people or as they were previously made out to be, in terms of DPS. But one, you have to have a very what's the right way of putting this? You have to have someone that you know, like if you're going to invite a feral into your raid, you have to know that they are like a very competent player and that they are willing to put in the work, because it's like out of any kind of spec that you'd play in a raid situation, that is like one of the harder ones. So it's very time consuming and stuff. So like if I was leading a guild, I probably wouldn't take a feral. Like I might consider a tank and then have him DPS on fights where we don't need him to tank, like an off tank feral. But in general, I probably, dude, it's this guy again. Why, bro? He's just trying to like let his pet kill me. It's not worth dying for. Hey Sith Lord, how's it going, man? Populations will certainly be similar to private servers. Mage, rogues, and warriors equal 80% of the population. Yeah, I mean my alt is going to be a mage for sure. Like mage is so great. Like you can farm gold really easily. You can portal yourself around, so travel time is pretty low. PvP is awesome as a mage. You have a fairly low skill floor, so like you can be good at a mage without trying very hard. I don't know, I just think it's a really good class for a lot of players, so that's why there's so many of them. And it's super fun in like in Alterac Valley, mages are awesome. In World PvP, mages are awesome. Like the AoE that you have is just crazy. What build and gear am I using? I just have like a lot of cloth, like intellect pieces. I don't have that great of gear. Like I have these randomly, some random stuff pretty much, but mages feel so boring drinking all the time, etc. Yeah, I guess. I definitely could see that. But I think as an alt, a mage is a solid choice because you can farm gold for yourself really easily, and it's relatively easy to level up and can be fun. And it's good. It's really good to level up too as an alt, because a lot of times people with alts, they'll level them when they're rested, and a lot of people enjoy AoE leveling. So when you combine both of those things, you can get a level in like hardly any time at all. Hey, it's this guy. This guy's pretty geared. Get close enough. No, please. Don't do this to me. I have a family. That's the problem, though. It's like mana is such an issue. Like, I don't want to shapeshift too much and go We still got NS, so we're fine in that aspect, but we just need to get more stabs in. You put that dagger to good use. Stay outside the 5-second window. We might die. I'm gonna die. That gun's so broken, dude. That gun is super strong at this level. The good thing about hunters, though, I mean, from a druid standpoint, is hunters become garbage later on. Like at 60, facing a hunter is actually super easy. Like once you have some decent gear. Mage almost best moneymaker. Yeah, I'd say mage. I'd say hunter is actually best if you want to just go the route of, what am I trying to say? Farming DM tribute runs all day long, but that can get super boring. Whereas mage has like a lot of options, you know. Wrecked. I wouldn't say wrecked. He was pretty low too. I still need to get a lot of pieces of gear as well. Whereas I think that guy and a few other hunters on Alliance side are like best in slot. Do you know if you can macro reset dungeons? People were saying you can't, but you can't use like a script macro to do it, but you just have to be in a group, I think. Like do it kind of the old school way that a lot of people used to do it, where they would drop group and then come back. Okay, guys, I gotta use the restroom. I'll be back in probably like a few minutes. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Played Druid in BFA, Legion, Mop. Played all 4 specs and had gear for all of them. Would vanilla be that big of a difference? Couldn't I just be a hybrid build and carry gear for all roles? Yeah, you can do that. Is it a big difference? Yeah, I mean you can't shift as frequently, whereas like in the retail client, I don't know about, like I said, I don't know about BFA. I haven't played BFA, but like in Kata and Mop and Warlords of Draenor, you could pretty much shift and not worry about mana too often. Whereas like in classic, shifting forms takes so much mana, especially when you don't have much gear. So it's just something you have to play around. Hey, is there a talent build which allows you to heal in raids and tank 5-mans? Yeah, that would be Heart NS. Finally got your computer back? Nice. Were you able to get all your stuff off the hard drive? Or was it completely fried? Do combo points persist through shapeshifting? Yeah, they persist through shapeshifting. However, you will drop the combo points, obviously, if you like switch targets. Even just like click on a frame and then click off, which can be really annoying as a druid because you have like you have a lot of instances where you want to root things off of like off of yourself or off of like a friendly target, and like maybe do like a bear charge onto a healer or something, and then your combo points are basically gone. So it's kind of a bummer. Got some stuff back. Well, at least you were able to get some of it back. That really sucks, though. That happened to me once. I bought like a new camera specifically for a vacation that I was going to take with my girlfriend, and then we went down and, you know, on the vacation I took tons of photos and a lot of video and things like that, and then I got back and the memory card was like corrupted, and so I had to like try and use like some software to try and get the files back and whatnot, but in the end I wasn't able to get everything back. It kind of sucked. Hey, Denise, how could you do this to me, Denise? I let you go. This is what you do to repay me? What's this guy doing? You son of a bitch, Denise. Oh, I'm about to get murked. Bye, guys. At level 60, once you get gear, shifting isn't near as much mana draining. Yeah, not nearly, but it's still very taxing if you're not careful. Like, I know a lot of people say, like, when you go up against a mage or something, people will be like, oh, Frost Mage versus Feral is a joke because, you know, just shift out of cat form, forehead. But it's like, you go really fast if you do that. So you have to play fights carefully. PvP style from Miss Pandaria of Feral compared to vanilla PvP. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't have, for example, you have Maim as cat in retail. You have, what else do you have? You have Maim, you have Skull Bash. You have all these things that give you more of like a rogues toolkit, which allow you to CC your target better so you can stay in cat form longer. And you also have like those weird talent points where you get like a self heal as like a feral. Like every time you crit or something, you heal yourself. Or there's like another one I think back then that you could like give yourself like 30% of your base HP back, or some weird talents like that where you basically get heals in cat form. Whereas you don't have any of those in vanilla, so you don't, as a feral druid in vanilla, you don't really stay in cat form very long. You need to switch out and like CC and heal yourself and stuff. If you could only make 3 characters all of Classic's lifespan, what classes, races would you pick? Obviously, Druid would be one. That's actually a good question. I probably would do Tauren Druid, obviously, for number 1. For number 2, I would do a orc warlock. And for number 3, I would do a undead mage. That's probably what I'd do. I can see the beta option to play, but when I press play, I get the no available servers network error. Not sure what this means. It means that you're probably invited to the stress test, Sith Lord. So the next stress test you'll be able to play, but what it sounds like is you don't have the beta access. You just have access to the stress tests. Rip, I was so tempted to play Druid, but the aspect of Feral being out of the equation when it comes to PvP is gone. Yeah, I mean, like, you can PvP as Feral, it's just not Feral, if that makes sense. Like, you're not spending most of your time in cat form. You're spending probably 20% of your time in cat form and about 40% of your time in bear form and 40% of your time in caster form. Because what you're going to do is you're going to open in cat, you're going to apply some quick bleeds, and then you're going to switch over to caster form, and you're going to, at that point, you're either going to kite and put up your dots, and maybe throw up a heal on yourself, dispel yourself, whatever you need to do there. And then you'll probably use bear form, depending on like what class you're going up against, and maybe if you need to charge a heal or a frostbolt or something. Smork Warlock. Yeah, man, undead warlocks look really, really good, but the problem is for a warlock, one of your harder matchups is a rogue and also a warrior, and so having that stun resist is really, really, really helpful. So, like, you don't really fear your fear break is not quite as impactful for undead. What am I doing? Okay. Hope they upgrade me to beta. Yeah, I hope they upgrade a lot more people to beta. We were having this discussion last night. It's like we were sitting in a Warsong Gulch queue for over 30 minutes last night, and we were saying like how they need to, like, there's so many people wanting to get into the beta that they need to just invite some more people. It helps Blizzard out and it helps the players out. It's just better all around. For everyone in vanilla, rogue and warrior is the worst match. As a druid, rogue is actually a pretty easy matchup. If the rogue isn't like how to put this the right way. Like if the rogue is like super, super crazy. Like going to use a Thistle Tea, is going to use a Sapper. If you root them, they're going to like, you know, they're basically using everything in their toolkit to kill you. Then you're probably going to lose. But if it's just like an average rogue versus an average druid, a druid has a really easy time against rogues. Whereas warriors, druids destroy warriors early on. Like, before warriors can get geared, druids is like, it's just a joke. So like phase 1 against a warrior, it's the best thing ever for a druid. Whereas like once a warrior starts getting geared, especially if they are like heavily into PvP and they've gotten themselves like BRE or like a ash candy or, you know, PvP rank 14 weapons, then yeah, they're gonna destroy a druid pretty easily. But I don't know. In general, druids do really well against most classes. You can always just run. Rogue is good 1v1, but pretty bad in mass battle. Yeah, you kind of have to, in like huge world PvP scenarios, you're more of like a scout, where you like pick off people in the back. It's kind of a fun play style though. If you like that, but if you like world PvP, the best thing is to either be a healer or a mage. Like, that's the most fun, because as like a warrior in world PvP, oftentimes it means you're one of the first people to die. Hey bud. Hey Method Josh. Ooh. Ooh. Do I kill him or do I just leave him? Seems like it's so sad. I mean, he is worth honor, right? Oh, those dodges though. Strong dodges. Huh. Okay. Interesting. He's trying something out. What is going on? Don't kill him. Guys, I need my honor. I need to make sure I can get my PvP trinket. PvP trinket at this level is huge for druids because I get out of stuns. So I really need the PvP trinket. Otherwise, I wouldn't kill him. You monster. Warriors need to connect to destroy people. When a geared warrior connects, it's pretty much over. Yeah, it's definitely tough. What level is recommended for a Blackrock Depths full clear? I would probably say a full clear. Most of the people in your group need to be above level 55. But I mean, it depends. Like if you are level 53, but your group is higher level, like you'll be able to clear it. You know what I mean? But most people won't take you unless you're like 55. I've done a quest run at like 54 though, as a druid. It just depends, man. Depends on like options too. Like if there's no one looking for a group, they might take you if you're lower. What's my build right now? Right here. So just going for NS. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to say. Yeah, I think we were getting like pretty decent. Like that's 19 honorable points or whatever. The problem is they're not showing up, so I don't, because normally this updates, so I don't actually know if we're gonna get if it's going to count towards us like ranking or something, you know? So we'll have to see. Are the mechanics for honor kill trading in place? What do you mean by honor kill trading? Like, you can only kill a player and get honor from them. I believe it's 4 times, and it halves every time. So like if you get 20 honor the first time, then it's 10 honor, then it's 5 honor, then it'll be like 2.5, and then it'll be nothing. Wonder if there's some decryption add-on to see what keg speak is. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of people that in the beta that have been using like the rough translation to say stuff like you lose and whatever. I get confused. Are there like 5-10 mans a lot in classic like Skolo and Strath? Yeah, you see those sometimes, but for example, like in classic, they said they're not like you won't be able to 15 man UBRS, right? So it'll only be 10 man. So there are some different changes and fixes for that. You must say your Mac runs like new now, so Blizz needs to get a brother into the beta now. Yeah, man, that's what everyone's saying. Everyone wants to get in. I feel ya. I think they should open the floodgates. Maybe get a few more servers going. What's the cooldown for honor kill farming? I think it's I'm not sure if it's a full day or if it's just like 12 hours, but it's like, I'm pretty sure it's a day, but I could be wrong. Yeah, UBRS and LBRS are 10 man. And obviously, if you have quests for there, then you have to do it in a 5 man. You can't do quests in a raid, so. Unless they say raid. Like, unless the quest specifically says raid. If it's a raid quest, then obviously you can do them in a raid. They have 3 stress test plans, so surely they'll keep increasing those and slowly give more out as they run out of shit to fix and optimize. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, at least. It would be nice to have more people in, obviously, you know. It just kind of adds to everything. If we can get more players in, it's just like more fun in general for everyone. World PvP is more enjoyable. More people are looking for groups. There's more stuff on the auction house. Do you think they anticipated Classic to be this popular? I don't think so. And I was thinking Classic is going to be popular, but you know, to what extent? And so far with like Twitch and just how much hype it seems the game's going to have, I think it's going to be really big. Who knows for how long, but like there'll definitely be fall off from people who like quit or whatever, but I don't know. We're here kind of early, but so we've actually won this tournament twice now. And the strat is you just don't do anything. You just wait. And you just keep waiting until everyone's dead or almost dead, and then you just come out and finish it. The only time you're not gonna win is when there's like a group of people. Um, but if it's just like 1v1s randomly, then you're pretty good. I just wish we didn't have to wait till August. I just want to play the game now. You know, I want like the full game to come out. Like this stuff is really fun, but I don't want to be capped at 30. I want to get to 60. I want to be doing like I want to be getting my Prebus gear. I want to be raiding. I want to be ranking in PvP. All that stuff. Like I'm tired of characters like knowing that characters aren't gonna last. It's been so long that way. Like years and years and years. Whereas like I finally want to have like a character that I know is gonna be around forever. The grind is definitely gonna remove a lot of players. Yeah, even in like guild chat yesterday, there was like so many people like asking like some guy who was like, "How do I get to 30?" And we're like, and everyone in guild was just like, "Dude, just quest." And he's like, "It's so slow." And we're like, "I mean, yeah, it's slow, but that's just what you got to do." Sorry, my dog's just trying to bark. I think my girlfriend just got home. Um, what's my pre raid bis list? It's on my YouTube channel. It's pretty much stuff from LBRS. Actually, I don't know if there's. Yeah, I think there's one piece from LBRS. Then the majority of stuff is from UBRS, and BRD actually has a few decent things too. I think people will bounce between classic and retail. It's like having two games for one sub. Yeah, I agree too. I really hope that classic has some kind of impact on retail or some kind of impact on Blizzard. Whether it's like, you know, they come out with a new game that has some of the core philosophies of like uh, of WoW, or you know, I don't know. I don't know how they would do that, but like I agree with Stay Safe. Like one of his streams a while ago, he's like we're all super excited for classic WoW, and he's like, but what if like retail WoW just never became shit? You know, that would be ideal. Like I would love to just be playing new content all the time that just had that same feeling that you get from playing classic, but it's not really possible right now. So I'm excited for classic, but I hope that uh, Blizzard as a company overall like just continues to get better and make better games and things like that. I'm excited for this year's BlizzCon to see what they announce. Farming, DMF, and Grew heirlooms on live will be the funnest part for was the funnest part for BFA for me. This was so OP. I'd never die. Yeah, I hear healing in retail is pretty crazy. Hey man, how's it going? Keep classic crash servers on launch. I feel like this is X-Men Future Past where they reset the timeline. We could finally go as hard as we want, or we'd like knowing the outcome. When we first played, none of us really knew there were going to be a million X packs. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I mean, it'll be exciting to see. I mean, if you just look at all these streamers and stuff and how no life they've gone in the beta alone, the launch is going to be something else. There's that high level healing quest chest that's leather and sunken temple, so that's nice. 55 healing. I mean the best healing piece you can get is the robes of exalted from um, Strath. Oh, they're excited to say hi. World of StarCraft. I wonder what they could do with that universe on a cosmic scale. Yeah, I mean, I remember. Oh, I didn't even see these guys here. I remember when they were wanting to do. They've been here the whole time. I kind of wanted to see where StarCraft Ghost was gonna go, but retail went to crap in Cataclysm and the End of Wrath. It was. I was sad when Raid Finder killed all the Pug Raid groups. Yeah. Good thing they gave us a whole week before school starts up. Now most people I know on Northdale are college students. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little rough, man. That's going to be some like I wonder how many people are going to be taking off time off of work or like just things like that in general. Even like one of my good friends, he messaged me the other day and was like talking to me about Classic, and he doesn't really play many video games, and he's like, I might have to take time off work to play Classic. Supernovas, that's that's pretty sad, man. You told them the wrong address, huh? Like on accident or on purpose? You do 100 hours played to 60, then you can do it if you play 15 hours a day. Yeah, my plan is to play 18 on the first week, like 18 on, 6 off, 18 on, 6 off. And that's outside of the first day where I'll probably do like a lot longer. Yours is 7701, and you keep mixing it up with 7100 when you're high. Thinking about it, more universe of StarCraft could be cool, considering 3 factions instead of 2. It could be something like Eve Online. People loved that game for so long. A lot of my friends from Vanilla always talked about playing Eve Online. We'll see what we can do. Mage, Paladin. The only problem is the guy's a warrior, and so there's not much he can do against 2 mages. You know, if I was a priest, it'd be different. I could dispel him. Excuse me. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I heard perception. How do they not see me? Let the bloodbath begin. Hey guys. Persist. We actually might faked, bro. I'm just gonna go though, that's the problem. What? Why didn't my form cancel? Well, it was worth a shot. Did he even really get... I don't even think he really did anything. I mean, not that he can. Man, if I had prepared a little bit more and just gotten like one other person, we would have actually won. Did you ever see the even review where he uses AWSD then logs off? Like a WoW player reviewing it? No, I haven't. I don't really know much about Eve. I'm not like I'm not super into like space stuff, I guess. Like I never really was a huge fan of like Star Trek or anything like that. And I never really got into like I've never been like super into futuristic like space video games, so I just don't know much about Eve. I know a lot of people really like it though. Okay, well, what do you guys want to see now at this point in the beta? Like, what would you like me to do? I'm kind of down for whatever. I don't really have anything specific that I'd like to accomplish today. You'd love to see some post-Nax content, that was cross progression opposed to forward progression. Yeah, I would really like to see that too. Like, cool new trinkets added, or like a new rep, like a new faction to, grind a rep out to get a cool few items or something like that. Something that sticks really, or is very close and similar with classic. So I'm not like vanity stuff, not like things that really don't matter too much, but are worth putting in the time and effort for if you are like really into like min-maxing or something. And then add a few things for like casual, like more of the casual players. Like, because if you think about it, when they add let's just say Zulgrub's not like a hard raid, right? It's not like super challenging, but it gives things that are valuable for like every player to like try and accomplish. Like the rep gives good enchants. You can get a few really good trinkets and things that have like good set bonuses and stuff for certain classes, like class specific stuff. And there's just, what is this guy doing? But yeah, stuff like that is what I like in a game. I'd like to see some more stuff like that. I have a lot of ideas on that. Talk to me sometime and we could make a video. Yeah, for sure. You should let me know your ideas. I wanted to make a video on that too. I think it'd be cool if they did a later... What is this guy doing? If they did like a later patch where it's like... I know a lot of people say they don't like the PvP system, but it would be cool if they added a few things to the PvP system. I don't really want any kind of ranking or rating system in Classic. I think that's kind of not what Classic was about, because people say, well, the ranking system didn't show that you were skilled, which I 100% agree. It was just a time investment thing. But Classic really never was about if you were skilled or not, you know? It doesn't have like elo systems. It doesn't have ranking systems. It was all more about like, it's kind of like an MMO, you know? Like that was the whole point. It was just about all like the time that you could put into something. Like it's like the whole MMO aspect of Classic, I think is what makes it stand out from other games and why people really like Classic. You don't need to have something about skill in it, you know? So if they added something to the PvP system, I would just like to see more like items or options or titles or something. Don't forget the mounts. That's like 98% of the reason why everyone runs ZG. Yeah, I agree. But that's actually one thing I wouldn't want to see in Classic is I don't want to start seeing how, or like what retail is like, where it's like all about mounts and pets and things like that. I'd rather keep that stuff low. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, I was so confused by this guy. Warfronts? Yikes. I'd like Blizz to stop revamping the classes to their extreme every expansion. Yeah, I agree with that too. Maybe they'd do something with Hydrall. Yeah, I've heard stuff like do stuff with Hydrall or do things with Uldum or Uldaman or whatever. No, not Uldaman. What's it called? The place in Tenaris. Can you make sure that... Can you not let them play right here? They're loud and annoying. Dogs, have some respect. Go away, dog. Thank you. I heard you beat Method Josh, and I'm a fan now. Yeah, I stabbed him to death as he stood there. Kind of like how you said, I'm down for whatever is the spirit of vanilla for me. There's no rigid rating system other than the PvP system, so people don't queue games all day to push rating. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing I do like about WoW is like Classic, you definitely have like things like to look forward to logging on for, but then also if you don't like have anything that you need to get accomplished, you know, like say you have your best in slot stuff or whatever, you just start to like, I don't know, it's like kind of like a world. You do just kind of get started with like some really random stuff. Like yesterday, some guy was like it was like a group of like, I don't even know why I'm still in this group, but I got like into a group of like 3 people in Duskwood that were getting attacked, and within an hour we had a full 40-man raid for PvP. It was just like for no reason, just randomly. And like I said, last night I think was probably the most fun I've had on the beta so far in terms of PvP. The spirit of the game is why a lot of why people compared vanilla to Eve. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Karazhan too, exactly. Karazhan. Think of like Karazhan Crypts raid that had undead, that had 20% holy resist. That could make Smite Priests and Paladins AoE tanking a thing. Yeah, that would be cool. And it would be, I think it would be cool to have, like, I don't even want like a successor to Nax, right? Like, it doesn't even need to be like a hard dungeon or raid. Like another 10-man dungeon would be cool. Or like even another 5-man dungeon, just like some little content here and there for people to get excited about. And the cool thing is, if you put that in a space, like say you do Karazhan, right? You're able to take advantage of a dead zone, which is dead when passed. No one really uses that zone. No one really cares about that zone. You could add a reputation, and you could add some quests, not daily quests, but you could add some quests there. So a small quest hub could come up. Within that quest hub could be a long chain quest in which you're able to get, a cool on-use item or like a trinket. It's like things like that. Like, you can add meaningful content that doesn't necessarily have to be like super endgame, top tier, crazy progression stuff, but it just gives meaningful content. And now Deadwind Pass is populated. There's people there. World PvP's happening. You get, skirmishes around the area. It just like it's like when you add Dire Maul. Like, Feralus becomes like a really popular zone. People are PvPing there. Like Phase 2 PvP, World PvP in Feralus is going to be insane, I think. So I mean, like, putting out new content for vanilla wouldn't really be challenging. It would just be about making sure they put it out correctly. Doing something that doesn't, like, I don't want any more gear progression. Nax gear is already strong enough. The burst that you can get with Nax gear is pretty crazy. I don't want stat inflation anymore. I'd rather just have like other random cool stuff. Like a new type of like Skull of Impending Doom or Lincoln's Boomerang or Nifty Stopwatch, things like that. Or maybe lore making a raid in Ajara where by magic or something you could turn into a Naga when zoning in, like Caverns of Time dungeons. Yeah, that would be a cool idea too. For me, it was twinking, essentially RBGs of vanilla in my eyes. Yeah, I do like twinking. I definitely think twinking is like its own little like niche community within vanilla, which is kind of cool. It adds some other things for people to try and strive for or do. Like if they're kind of bored between like a content drought at level 60 and they've done everything at 60 that they want to do, they can go back and twink. There's also a lot of a backstory they filled in from BFA that could be used as cross expansion. Botswani or whatever could make something exploring the TLDR they added in BFA. I like to see raids with boss designed around utilizing off specs and gear from off spec gear. Yeah, I agree. That's why I like Twin Imps fight. I like and I also really like a lot of the world boss stuff. I think that's really interesting. Not like having a content that's not gated by a portal, like, so you're not zoned out of the world. There are a lot more off specs than main specs. No gear equivalent to main specs for off specs. Yeah, I know that's what a lot of people say. Like, oh, balanced druids are super weak because of mana issues. But if they came out with like an off spec specifically for balanced druids, where the 4-piece bonus gives you back a certain amount of mana per successful cast or something like that, that would be cool. Or making what's another good off spec that gets a lot of hate? Like a ret spec, where one of the pieces adds, something that kind of boosts ret. So you're not affecting their talent trees in any way or balancing off of that. You're balancing more off of like a gear piece, which is kind of cool. Oh, I need to level my daggers. Raids with gear that benefits off spec would be nice. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a lot. I think that's how a lot of people feel. Like a lot of people would just like to see some offset pieces, and I mean, a lot of us have heard that they have said that they want to listen to the community. So when we get to that point in the content where Nax has been out, they want to listen to the community and kind of take feedback. And it sounds like the community all really likes the idea of getting off spec gear. So that is honestly something that we might actually see. It's possible for sure. I like vanilla full hybrid gear. Like tank heal gear or feral resto gear. That's good for dungeons, even if not ideal for raids. Yeah, I agree. World PvP raids stopped happening in Wrath, I think. What's in my offhand? My offhand is Witch's Finger. It actually has a really... Like, for an offhand, it looks really cool, actually. But it has super strong stats for the level. I don't actually know why I'm in this group still. What are they doing right now? Scarlet Monastery, the Barons. Going to drop group. Look, guys. Like, I don't even... I was in just because of the Gurubashi thing, but... Something giving priests an option to go shadow, maybe like an alternative tier set. Exactly. You wouldn't even need to change talents at all. Just have gear to make almost all off specs more viable, and some maybe optimal. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they would be able to balance that, because that would be like, it definitely would be like a tall order if they got super fancy with things. Like if they, for example, if they just took like Nax gear, and with similar stats, they were able to make like, for example, Resto, the gear for tier 3 for Druid is all Resto focused, right? So if they're able to give similar stats to the Resto gear, but it just increased, like it was just stamina, strength, agility, maybe, some dodge or some crit, and it's for like a feral or tank set, like that would be fairly easy for them to do, and I would like that. But then it gets like to the point where it could get kind of sketchy, where they start making like a lot of big changes. And then I don't know. It really just depends on who they have working on it. It seems like the classic team so far has been pretty good, and they all seem to value the like classic mentality. But you wouldn't want like more of the retail style going into the old stuff, Because of the debuff issues on bosses, even though it's going up by 8 for MC, I feel like something that turned Mindflay stronger if you don't use Shadowrun Pain or something. Kind of the same idea behind Mind Spike. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Kind of buff the classes that are weak because they can't put a debuff up or something. Like, for example, if you raid as a enhancement shaman, you're not able to do, Storm Strike. So how about in
1.13 we included pandas, and the pandas became a third faction and is a hardcore panda versus the world race. I think you're gonna have trouble selling anyone on that idea. Man, I remember I was in my I can remember this so easily. I was in my college dorm room. I had bought the virtual ticket for BlizzCon, and my roommate and I are sitting there, and we're watching the like announcement for the new expansion, and it's like pandas, and like we weren't sure if they were kidding or not. Like I thought it was a joke at first, but I don't know. I still can't believe that he laughs at me. Come on, man. Just trying to play the game. Well, I had a little weird lag there. He potions. What a savage. Never considered Storm Strike. Yeah, it sucks. Like there was an enhancement shaman in our guild on Northdale, and he literally just had Nightfall, and he would just white hit. Like he did, and just drop totems. He literally didn't do anything. I don't know why he ever wanted to do that, but he was really into it. He was really into being a shaman, an enhancement shaman. So to each their own, I guess. What's the defense cap for level 62 bosses? I'm not sure, because obviously as a feral druid, you're not, or a feral tank, you're not able to hit defense cap, so it's not really an issue. You just want to stack armor, but I'm not sure. All they would have to do is make Boomkin gear, is change the dumb effect of Atiesh for Boomkins to something more useful. Like you suggested, mana back every time you crit. It's ridiculous that a legendary staff is only really usable for feral druids, and even feral druids have better options. Well, I mean, it has really good healing stats, but it's super, super strong on feral. There's no better alternative than Atiesh for feral. Like, yeah, you still want to use manual crowd pummelers when you're tanking and DPSing at certain fights, but still a really strong weapon. But probably won't be going to. He's back again for more fun. What do you think about making different specs viable for in raiding like Ret and Feral? I've always thought that those specs don't really need to be viable in raiding, but it'd be nice for them to be viable outside of raids. Like if someone wants to play those for fun on their own time. Man, this guy loves to potion. He's wasted 2 potions against me now. Like he's still gonna die. He's some juicy honor, though. 28 points. Make sure to laugh at his corpse. I got Mr. Jordan on me though. Yikes. I remember hearing rumors about Miss Pandaria. Pandaria was mainly chosen to have pandas because of a large audience in China. Yeah. Wait, where's the... Oh, okay. Bud, what are you doing? It's Ray. It's our friend Ray. Dude, nice blanket CS for nothing. Oh, shit. This is why we need to make a video bringing all these ideas together, because I fear that Classic will be too successful for Blizzard, and if we don't come up with something that can move Classic forward and still be Classic, Blizzard will destroy it. Yeah, I mean, I think that they know enough about the things they've done in the past that they probably wouldn't destroy it, but I do kind of agree with you on the fact that it'd be good if the community kind of took action to tell them what they wanted. I know a lot of people really want to just see the game go to TBC. To me, I like TBC, but I feel like TBC was really like... I know it's probably kind of not a popular opinion, but I think TBC is when the game started to like not be as great. I don't know. Like flying, I didn't like Outland taking everyone out of Azeroth. I don't like how every expansion, like they need to find all this new land. Like all of a sudden, all this new land is available. You know, like oh, now we have Northrend up here, and now we have, you know, now we're gonna go into this area or that area. It's like, it's not worth. This guy's not worth it. He's just gonna get guards on me. I need to stay further away. Great, it's Ryan again. Hey Ryan, how's it going, man? All jokes aside though, how's it going? Blizzard doesn't have to change any skills or talents, they just need to release appropriate gear for those specs. Yeah, or just like a little bit of content here and there. Like even like I use Dire Maul as an example a lot because I've just seen firsthand from private servers when they release Dire Maul how like fun the game is. But that's like pretty much anything. Like when Blackwing Lair opens up and you have to kill the orc to get the attunement quest. Like PvP in Blackrock Mountain is insane at that time. You have just like full raids just trying to get that quest done and other people trying to like deny them and kill them. So it really doesn't take that much to make Classic WoW like extremely fun for a while. Like just adding little things here and there can really make the game awesome. I'm the only Ryan that matters. I'm good, Ryan. How's it going? Out of curiosity, how do you go about beating warlocks on Retro WoW? On Retro WoW, I don't really. I just lose most of the time because you don't really have the option for resist gear. But the best thing you can do is get resist gear, to be honest. Resist gear is going to help you out a lot. I'd like a separate TBC server, not progressing the vanilla to it. Oh, so you have to like level up on it and everything? That'd be kind of interesting. I think a lot of people would like to be able to take their like character that they've grown attached to from vanilla though and move it over to TBC. Oh my god, a Druid player finally. Yeah, there's not a ton of us. This dagger is actually so strong. TI. I watched your video on resist gear. Thank you for posting that. I feel like druids are the only class that can get away with sacrificing damage. Yeah, and the good thing about all those resist pieces is most of them have intellect and stamina on them. So you're at least still retaining some of the valuable stats that you need. So it does help quite a bit. And people say, well, like, oh, well then if a good warlock realizes that you're wearing a bunch of resist gear, they're going to switch over and they're going to be doing damage to you. They're going to be doing like fire damage to you, which is true. But unless a warlock is deep destro to get like conflag and stuff, which most warlocks will not go that spec, they're not going to have enough burst to kill you with their fire damage. So you'll be able to like heal through it and kill them. So at least that's just what I've found so far. Never played vanilla. I started in Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm thinking about going Druid. My friend told me it sucks. You give no damage. Your healing sucks. People won't want you in PvP and PvE. Kind of true, but kind of not true. Like, your damage sucks. True. Your healing sucks. True. But both of those things, since you have both of those, combined, they can be really strong. Like, your healing is not tier 1 and your damage is definitely not tier 1, but combined you can like use both of them at the same time to kill people, if that makes sense. You're really, really strong in world PvP, and then in pre-mades you have specific like specific roles that you fill really well. And then in terms of PvE, you're still needed, but you're not going to top meters. I know every time I say that, there's someone that's like, oh, I knew a druid in my guild that was on the top of the healing meters. But in general, that doesn't happen very often. And the druid is also probably really well geared and is probably using Innervate on himself, which you should really Innervate your priests. But basically, you're there as a druid in a raid group. You're there to like buff the entire group. So with Mark of the Wild, and then you have battle res, and you have Innervate, and then you have heals. So you're there kind of as like a support role. Same guy, we'll leave him alone. There's not really much point in killing someone over and over again. If you're a god healer, a tier 1 druid is top tier. Yeah, I mean, like, you can top the charts, but you have to be very geared, and that really only happens later in the, what am I trying to say? Later in the phases. That's not really very typical at the beginning of the game. Tier 3 gear is just really strong for druid, especially the idol that gives you mana back. You basically can't go out of mana at that point, so you're basically able to just spam heals. Druid can top healing meters if he's innervated by 4 other druids. Yeah, I mean, like, you just have to, if you're going to top the meters as a druid, you just have to be consumed up. You have to have a lot of mana potions, and you have to be using Innervate on yourself and things like that. It is possible, though. This is a different guy. Just making sure that's not the same mage that we've killed like 3 times. Juked. Doesn't work on me, boy. This is why it's nice to have a fast dagger, though, guys. Because you want to stand in a mage's face, and the more hits you can get in, the more you're just pushed back, like you're pushing his spells back. And then if you're constantly running like over top of him, a lot of times they're going to be, they're not going to get the cast off. So it's just really strong. How do you beat a good elemental shaman? They can out damage me, and just heal when need be. Yeah, Ryan. I know Retro WoW has like the biggest population of elemental shamans. Elemental shamans are very hard for a druid to beat, but the good thing is in true classic WoW, you won't fight that many elemental shamans. It's not as popular as it is on like those instant 60 servers. So it won't be as big of an issue. And the good thing is if you don't want to fight an elemental shaman, you can always just run. I guess I'm going Druid because my secondary class is Rogue, and from what I see, Classic is swarmed with Rogues. Yeah, it is true. Rogues are super fun. They're just very cooldown heavy. So, like, you're a class that, like, in PvP, you have a lot of fun, but you have to really be careful about your cooldowns. Like, if you enter a fight and you don't really have many cooldowns, you're going to lose. Whereas a Druid, your only cooldown you really have to rely on is NS, which is relatively short. Like for most cooldowns, like a lot of rogue cooldowns are between 3 and 5 minutes. Some of them are up to like 10. But NS is only 3, so it's like almost up every fight. Just go Horde, never fight Shamans. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not the best person to ask about Shamans, because every time I duel a Shaman, I lose. And I don't face them in PvP, so I'm definitely not good against Shamans. Purge is really, really hard as a Druid. Oh, same guy. That's why I'm going Alliance. I never want to get hodged or hit into Bubble or Bob. That mace does so much damage. It's actually crazy. Hodged a little late. Oh, he's almost Jeez, well, okay, we'll fight him. If he was like full mana, I was gonna just leave. It wasn't gonna be worth my time. Incoming lay of hands. I have so much cloth gear that going to bear form actually doesn't even matter. It's actually hilarious. Maybe we can burst him down here? No. Burst as a druid. Lol. Such a sleeper class. Like if you play a ret, there's something wrong. Refresh Mark of the Wild. Yeah, I just don't have mana. I saw that when I went into combat too. I also have this stupid disease which doesn't help. Guess I should be using roots more. I'm just used to them having a cleanse, but they don't at this level. Damn that damage. That Damushka. I need to get away so I can bandage. I just don't have mana. Like at this level, my mana is just such an issue. Like I can't fight a paladin, I don't think, at this level. Do I use rank 1 roots and hibernate at 60? No, I usually use the full rank as the duration's a lot longer. But there are times that I'll use it. He's hitting pretty hard for an auto attacker. Yeah, that's the mace that is like super high DPS that you can get from a quest right now. It's like actually insane. That's why like this level 30 PvP really doesn't it's not a good indicator of much, because like for example you have hunters running around with the gun from Stranglethorn Vale, which is like insane at this level. So you have to take PvP at this level with like a grain of salt. That's another class that you just avoid, Priest. It's like, what are you going to do? There's no point in fighting this class at this level, especially at this level. At 60, you can at least stay cat form and you'll slowly win by mana. But at this level, like, she's just going to dispel everything I do. Yeah, poke. Yeah. Hey, bud. Hewlett, and the other guy's name is Packard. Dude, these are some straight clever alliance. That guy? Holy Pally over Resto Druid at 60 in PvP. Well, you have a very different job. Like a Holy Pally is a heal bot, whereas at 60 on a Resto Druid, you're not actually really a healer. You're like kind of a healer, but you mainly are there for like support. You're like the role of like if a Ret Paladin was taken to a battleground or like a pre-made, you're basically what the Ret would do. Like the Ret would fill in a little bit with damage, whereas instead you'd be filling in with healing a little bit, but mainly you'd be like CCing, peeling, cleansing. You really want to make sure you're keeping Curse of Tongues off of your actual healers, things like that. So it's more of like a hybrid play style. Do lower level roots break faster? Well, just in general, they last less time. So like if you look in here, 12 seconds, 15 seconds, 18 seconds. There's obviously a damage portion of the roots, but that doesn't really matter, obviously. What? I thought I got it off. There. Don't do this to me. Don't just stand there and beg at me. Come on, fight like a strong female human rogue. You can't vanish when you have that on. That's one thing I've never really understood, is like people using cooldowns or potions like that. Like for example, the other day we were doing world PvP and there was a paladin running from a group of like 8 of us, and he got really low and then he used lay on hands and then we just killed him anyways. Like I don't know what was the point of him using that long cooldown, you know? Or what's the point of wasting like a health potion when you know you're going to die anyways? Oh, break faster in terms of the damage? Yeah, they will. Sorry, I thought you meant like the length of the root was less. Are Shadow Priests easy to beat with your resist setup? Yeah, even more so than a Warlock, because they don't have any, like, they can go and start, like, smiting you, but that's not going to help them at all. Can't wait for August 27th. I know, man. I'm right there with you. I want to play a character. Like, I want to play with my guild. I want to play a character that I know is going to stay around forever. I want to, like for example, like, I want to go level fishing and cooking and things like that, but I'm not going to bother with doing that on this server when I know, you know, it's fleeting and there's not really any point in doing it. You're 100% right. In 12 or 1.12, druids aren't tier 1 healers until later. Best in slot healing gear to downrank to rank 4. Lowest cast time. Druids are tanks and healers only. Yeah, pretty much. You can DPS, but it's not ideal. Rate them anyways. Well, I mean, if I was to take if I'm taking a healer, then I'd definitely take a paladin. But if we're already full on healers and I need like another slot and our damage is pretty stacked, I'd probably take a druid. But it's just like druids have to be slotted into a battleground, like a pre-made group, carefully. Like you definitely don't need one for anything other than Warsong Gulch. Like you can get away with doing Arathi Basin without any druids. It's still nice because they can peel away from fights really easily and they can spin nodes and stuff, but it's definitely not necessary. When will they release Classic for everyone? Yeah, August 27th if you're EU and August 26th if you're NA. Can you make a balanced druid that alternates between casting and then going feral DPS while regenerating mana? You could kind of, I guess. I never really thought about that. Your DPS would still be lacking overall. You know, it's like you're better off just going full feral cat DPS at that point. But you definitely could do that. Okay. Sorry guys, hold on. Okay, I think they're done barking. Sorry. Your dog went off because of my dogs. Release the hounds. So you're going Alliance? No, I'm not going Alliance. I'm going Horde. Someone was just asking about Holy Paladins. Made a feral on Retro WoW with full AQ and Nax gear and the damage was simply atrocious. Yeah, it's like it doesn't stack up to any other DPS, especially because in PvP you're not really going to be able to get away with power shifting. Forgot to feed his IRL pets. No, I think they saw something outside. It's the little one that barks the most. It's funny how that always happens, how the small dogs are always the most annoying. Like my big dog really only barks if something's like, you know, if shit's hitting the fan or something. Or if someone's like actually at the door. But the little dog will bark if something's just walking by our house, which is kind of pathetic. Look at this crazy strat you can do, guys. Is everything just gonna phase in all of a sudden? Because where is everything? It's true, small dogs are always the most annoying. Yeah. Did I ever play on Phoenix Warsong times 12? I played on the Phoenix server that was instant 60. I forget what it was called. But yeah, I played on that one. Yeah, I've been playing Classic WoW for a long time. How did you get here? A lot of deaths through the cave.
took off all my gear so it wouldn't break with durability, and then I just died over and over again. But yeah, that was one of the days I didn't stream because I was doing super boring stuff, but I really wanted to test things, like test different things out, so that's kind of what I was doing. I think it's that late so kids don't know life their summer on Classic, and then their parents keep them from playing it because of that. If they have school going to, then they can retain the younger audience, plus they'll be so sick of their summer games by then, huge demographic. That's kind of true. I didn't actually think about it that way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if they had a reason or if it was literally just because that's when they thought they'd be finished with it. Probably going to be a resto druid and then heal my pals in world PvP. Yeah, world PvP is super fun as a druid. Like, for example, if you're playing a priest, yeah, you have really, really strong heals, right? But the thing is in world PvP, everyone's just like, get on the priest, and then what do? You just die. People will try and peel for you, but normally you'll just die. And then, like, as a druid, like, you can heal your team, but then also if people get on you, you have a really easy time of getting away. Do hunters ever give you trouble? Not at 60, really. Leveling up, yeah, for sure. And like right away at 60 at the very beginning, when you're still under geared, then it does suck. Wow, that vendor's for 2 gold. That's an easy 2 gold right there. Look at this, guys. Do you think I should report this? Or do you think we should just let it slide? Not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind it being in at the very launch, but that is definitely not how it was intended. That got added the reflectors got added a lot later in the game. So I noticed that the other day when I came here. I was like, okay, that's definitely not intended. I don't know about these other things. I think these are probably fine. I'm not sure. If I try to go full feral, would it be viable? You're just going to run into issues with mana, and your damage is not super high. Like, the biggest issues with ferals is that you don't have, like, CC or ways to, like, lock down opponents. So you have to switch out into caster form or to bear form, and that requires mana. And if you are in, like, full DPS gear, you just go pretty fast. So that's pretty much why it's not viable. Report it. I wonder if I can F6 that item. Because a lot of these items you can F6 to report a bug, so let's just look. I don't know if they've already I don't actually know if they've already confirmed that it was they were just going to leave it in the game or not. People already did. Well, the thing is, I don't know if anyone's even been here. Like, I don't know if anyone ran here. Not in the game until later phases. On the vendor and ever look right now. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, that's kind of how I've been treating most of the bugs. Like I probably reported a lot of things that other people have already reported too, but it's kind of like it's kind of like might as well, I guess. What do we want to do, guys? I don't really know what I should do. Like I have some upgrades, but I don't really care that much about getting like new gear that much. Like this thing is pretty garbage, but 2 health every 5 seconds. That's game changing. I mean, it's better than no neck, but make a new character? Yeah, I definitely could if you guys want to watch that. I just want to do stuff that is somewhat entertaining, because that's why I didn't stream the other day, because I was doing like really boring things on WoW. 8 more slots for debuffs though. If you look, if you took one feral for the melee group, they maybe could rake and rip, since you can only have one of them anyways. It doesn't. The weird thing though about feral druids and just how they work in PvE is, even if you had the debuff slots for rake and rip, you would actually you wouldn't want to use those anyways. You would want to continue to power shift and shred and ferocious bite spam. Like you wouldn't want to even worry about your bleeds. They're not enough DPS compared to power shifting. Like power shifting is just that strong. It's really the only way to like have a good DPS rotation if you're actually trying to like push strong DPS, you know? Which is weird, which is why I don't really like DPSing as feral, because power shifting is, I don't think it's like super fun or rewarding, but a lot of people really like it. Make a mage? I was kind of thinking about making a mage. You're watching the PvP tier from WoW Classic, and they put Balanced Druid on D, the lowest level. What's that from? What was that from? I was watching the PvP tier from WoW Classic. Like people were ranking Balanced Druid. Like it depends on what people consider balance. Like if you would consider someone being a balanced druid if they have moon conform, then yeah, balance is garbage. But if you go like up to 30 points into balance, like 30, 21 is good. And I wouldn't consider it D. I can beat a lot of classes as that spec, but Troll Mage, I'd say they're the most underplayed race. Yeah, which Troll Mage is actually the best thing you can possibly be if you're wanting to get that Black Lotus in or Alteric Valley. Troll Mage is the best. 24, 13, 14 is nice. I mean, if I'm going 14 into Resto though, I'm gonna pick up NS. NS is just so good. Like I think people overlook NS too much. Like NS is like the strongest thing that you have as a druid. It's literally 100% health. Like if you have any amount of spell power or healing power, or or healing, like you will full health yourself with an NS. So like, yeah, I don't know. NS is like super strong. You should always stream. If you do boring stuff, you have more time to answer questions and etc. Yeah, I know. Some people have told me that I need to stream more. The problem with it is like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, like, because when I had never streamed before, I'd always think the same thing. But like when you're streaming, you're like conscious about like trying to be entertaining, I guess. So it's like if I'm bored in WoW and I'm just running around doing nothing, then I feel like I need to turn the stream off or do something more exciting. I don't know. It's kind of weird. NS is like lay on hands on a 3-minute cooldown. Yeah, it pretty much is, except that it doesn't drain all your mana too. So it's like, it's really strong. Like there's a reason why almost every druid spec has it. especially because when you get into the AQ patch where you upgrade, you get a higher rank of healing touch from the like a book that drops off of AQ 20. Like it gets even stronger, so it's definitely a talent that I would try and always pick up if I can. You want the item from Nomer? Yeah, the crowd pummeler. Feral DPS can be very strong if done that way. In general, raid worth is super high. I mean, yeah, it's just exhausting. Like it's just like a more taxing play. Whereas you can be a warrior, like you can be a fury warrior, and you can farm your jujus pretty quickly with a group, and you can buy a few consumables, and you can just show up to raid and just mash your keys and do great DPS. Or you can be a feral druid and take all this time and try just to break the top 10 DPS. It's strong, but it's just a lot of work, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's definitely can be good, and you do help out your party with your 3% crit aura, but that's more so on alliance, because most of the time a shaman will be slotted into where you would be in the party so that they can give Wind Fury. Like, the way to do it on Horde side, if you're going to be a feral druid on Horde side, the way to do it is you get slotted in with the hunters, because the hunters don't benefit from Wind Fury weapon or Wind Fury totem, and the 3% crit, you give it to their pets and the hunters. So that's actually the best way to do it. They're feeling very noisy today. Sorry, guys. I wonder if... I wanted to see if Tips Out was on, because I know he said that he wanted to put together like a try-hard PvP group. I wouldn't mind like flag running in like a pre-made, but... But playing a Fury Warrior in PvP can be infuriating, though. Played one on NOS till 60. It kind of sucked, besides being a decent DPS for my guild. Yeah, that's true. I do agree with you on that one. Exhausting, you are right. But at the same time, you can take a heal set with you on 40 mans and be decent. Furies can't. You're correct, though. It's hard mode. Yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone, but if you like that playstyle, then it's definitely viable. Like, I think people just outright saying that ferals can't compete on DPS is definitely just like not true anymore. It's just like a different kind of competition where it's just like a lot more effort to do it. I know they have sims for individual classes, and they have raid planners for party buffs. But I wonder if sims have gotten so sophisticated where you could find one that could figure out a 40-man composition with it. I know that's how I found out to stack Mastery and Kata when everyone was stacking crit. Got to like 2.2k like it was nothing on a warrior. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the 40-man like
the 40-man like compositions for raiding has kind of been figured out. There's probably still a lot to be learned, but there's only so much tweaking you can do, especially with like shamans, because their totems are party wide, and things like that. So you really have to make sure you have shamans with like your melee groups, and then like if you have extra shamans left over, then you have, a shaman oftentimes will be with your warlocks for tranquil air, for threat, and then a shaman might be like a mana tide shaman might be with your healers to help with mana. So I think shamans are the most, like, in terms of classes, shamans are the most important to get into the right groups, because they that really can kind of like dictate how your composition works. I was hoping maybe we would see some we would get some PvP out here, but it might be kind of all lower level. Sometimes there's like level 25s and 6s in here. I've been set on playing Druid. After watching Perplexity earlier today, I think I want to play a Rogue. Tough decisions. Yeah, Rogue's definitely fun. Rogue was my first class in vanilla. The one thing I don't like about Rogue is just how cooldown dependent it is. But it's super fun, especially in like just going out and like playing on your own and ganking people. Stealth classes definitely can be strong in Classic, though. I would have to say too many people confuse viable and optimal as, and that's part of the problem. Yeah, that's true. I'm positive that when it comes to off specs, there is still a lot to be found out about when it comes to viable, but not much more to find out about optimal. Yeah, that is a good point. Like, if you see speed runs, it's like almost all warriors, and then you have your other classes that you just basically need for buffs and healing and stuff like that. But if you want just like straight up DPS in a raid, there's definitely like more of an optimal build. Something I never thought about until now was, what if there was a main tank feral and a DPS feral, so that they could give each other leader of the pack, or they could give leader of the pack to 8 melee classes, 3% crit, could be a nice steroid for ally side anyway. If Rip and Rake were worth the energy, and since one feral is tanking the other, or there'd not be no dot overlap either. Yeah, I mean, I think the 3% crit isn't as massive as people think it is. Like, it's definitely good, but didn't we see this little gnome earlier? Murloc Safety Squad. Okay, that doesn't work. Sorry. See, again, we just talked about this. Don't why are you potioning? It's just no point. There's no point. You just wasted a potion. Yeah, druids have track humanoid in vanilla. I don't know what level you get it at, though. I think it's like in your 40s or something. It's definitely a ways down the line. Okay, guys, I'm going to go up to Darkshore, see if we can find anyone along this area. And then I'm probably going to end the stream. I got to eat, take care of my dogs, take them for a walk and stuff, and probably hang out with my girlfriend for a while for the rest of the night, and work on my next video for YouTube. But if I see that, like I'll be around later tonight, and if I see that Tips Out or someone is making a PvP group, I'll definitely jump on and start streaming myself doing Warsong Gulch. I'm gonna try and start streaming like more regularly, and just not worrying so much about being entertaining. So if you tune in and it's like a boring stream of me just doing boring stuff, we can just chat or whatever. But I'm just gonna try and start streaming more often, even if it's not like super high end crazy action stuff. Whenever Ryzen 3 comes out, even the PC enthusiast could run a bunch of sims to test shit easily. This is why I want to find a guild that is semi-hardcore but wants to experiment and find new specs, etc. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of things will come down to in Classic anyways, is you're gonna have people that like, I mean, I myself want to push content, right? Like, I'd love to be the server first Molten Core clear or something like that. But then after you have Molten Core on farm or whatever, you might as well like have fun and like either try and do some speed runs of Molten Core, or maybe you do like, yeah, where everyone comes as like you kind of switch around specs and stuff and see what you can get away with and try different things out. Especially in the early phases, like when raids are really easy. Like Molten Core is a joke. The only two bosses that could pose a problem for people are like Domo and Rag, and that's about it. So, I mean, you might as well have fun and test stuff early on, and then like when content starts getting harder in like AQ and Nax, then you might as well take it more serious. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take off. Like I said, possibly I'll be back on tonight. If not, I will definitely be streaming tomorrow, no doubt. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Hope you guys get into the beta. Hope they keep sending out invites. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.